I'll just share it. I'll just share it.
I'd like to make one request before we begin. It's one of our rituals. Manusha Nam Sahasreshu. Do you know some Bhagavad Gita verses? Do you know that one? Manusha Nam Sahasreshu Kasya Jatati Siddhaye. Doesn't ring a bell, no? Yatatamapi Siddhanam Kashmam Viti Tatvataha. So out of many of mankind, many, hardly one is interested in reality. They're interested in something, non-reality versions. And then of those who have achieved realization, hardly one knows me in truth. What the verses say. But is it going to be so? Statistically, not likely. What to do? Do it anyways. Because it's pleasing to Krishna. And that's what we do. That's and some will get it. And those that get it, they can lead thousands. Or more than thousands, Nelson Mandela. I mean, not that he was a perfect person, but he principle-centered. He got it. It saved his life from going mad. And then was able to lead others because it was deep inside, the place of shelter for him. Anyway, it's rare, but it's to be done. That's our line of disciplic succession. It's our mandate. We move in this direction, and we try to encourage others to move in this direction. That is, to understand what is the self and what's in the interest of the self and how to accomplish it. Most people aren't going to get it, but you do it anyways. And some people will get it. And that's how the direction can move from degradation to elevation on the spiritual platform. It's compelling. Not easy, but it's compelling. It's the method. And we're not great acharyas, but we're that the man that was in jail with Nelson Mandela. I don't know his name, but he had faith and he was able to infect in a positive way one man. So one at a time. Anything else?
Yes, Prabhu, we have next lecture with us.
I just sent it, Prabhu.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. I'll just wait. If you have the transcription also, please share it.
Maybe for today, if you can just go without the transcription. Is it okay?
Sure.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, Text 10.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
You going to look at?
Yes, Prabhu. Here also volume is too less.
No, but when I play it on my laptop, the volume is fine, Prabhu. Is there something volume sitting on your laptop?
Oh, nothing, Prabhu. It is all like full on. Maybe 1 second.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And the application. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This morning I want to chant the verse, text number 11, for those that have a book. So this is the follow-up verse from this often quoted, very important verse from the 3rd chapter. Akarma sarva kamova moksha kama udaraditi vrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param, where Sukadeva Goswami has taken his hammer and hit the nail one more time. Boom. This is it. Regardless of your position, whether you're liberated, whether you're desiring liberation, whether you're desiring all types of facilities within the material world, all 3 of those categories should engage in very strong, intense, vigorous, forceful, powerful, very determined devotional service. Tivra Bhakti. That's where we left off yesterday evening. And one will understand that if they're udharadi, broad-minded, intelligent and thoughtful is the broad-minded soul. Intelligent is you can distinguish one thing from another thing, and broad-minded is that you understand you must do it, and you follow through with doing it. Not just armchair discernment, but application. And the application principle, the broad-minded soul can understand, applies even if I have so many material desires, even if I desire liberation, or if I have no material desire but only this bhajaniya parama purusha sukha matra svasukhatvam, that my happiness is seeing the happiness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is my happiness, the happiness of the beloved is the happiness of love. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's very short, powerful statement, in this material world there is no love. Meaning, real love is otherworldly. In this world there's a reflection of the otherworldly love, and in this world the contamination is, what's in it for me? The mercantile calculation, prompted by the mode of passion, I want to enjoy. And so I'm going to make a plan whereby I will enjoy because I want to enjoy. That's the justification. I want to enjoy. And so this next verse is describing, Prabhupada calls the plan makers for enjoyment. There's the impious and the pious, plan makers for material enjoyment, or what's in it for me enjoyment. And such persons cannot understand the transcendental nature of love, the transcendental nature of the object of love, and the process to achieve that. Meaning, they can't understand the conclusion of the Vedas properly. They may reject the Vedas altogether, as in the case of the atheistic plan makers, known as material scientists, or it may be the religionist plan makers for material enjoyment that Shukadeva Goswami has already outlined in verses 2 through 9, the different kinds of I want to enjoy, with many subcategories. And the Vedic process for fulfilling material desire is found in that process, going back to Canto 1 Srimad Bhagavatam, where Vyas is getting a grade on his PhD thesis. His professor, Professor Narada, is evaluating his thesis, saying, well, you haven't said things wrong, but you gave inordinate emphasis to how to fulfill I want to enjoy through various procedures of Vedic sacrifice and worship of the demigods and karma kanda. A preponderance of description on that side, but not sufficiently have you described the direct process of worshiping the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thereby getting on the other side of I want to enjoy. Because that spirit binds one to the material world, whether it's the Mayaya Paritagyana person, the Jnani, the intellectual, the scientist, the should be but isn't Brahmana, should be, would be, but is misleading, is misled and misleading others, sector of society. Because they're duskriti. They just don't want to surrender to Krishna. The core word is of this namam duskritana mudha prapadyante naradhama mayaya pritagyana asurim bhavam ashita. Because I'm preluding what the next verse is going to describe. But there's kriti, which means the fruits of piety, very much like punya. Then you put a prefix in front of kriti, and that's sukriti or duskriti. Just like at the end of class, we'll give out to everybody 1 crore of rupees. Wouldn't that be nice? Everyone can go home with 1 crore of rupees. Now, depending upon the consciousness that's inside, that 1 crore of rupees will be used for something that will be elevating for society, and something that might be degrading for oneself and society. The kriti is the $1 million. 1 crore of rupees. Depending upon the consciousness inside, the merit that comes from pious activities can be properly used or improperly used. Jarasandha. Duskriti. Jarasandha was well known. Everybody knew it. That he was very charitable to Brahmanas. That's why Krishna chose the plan, let's go in disguise as Brahmanas, to Bhima, dressed in Brahmana's clothes, renunciate clothes. Here come these big, lumbering Kshatriyas with massive shoulders and huge arms. Who are these Brahmanas? Anyway, they're Brahmanas, so at least they're dressed as Brahmanas. So, any charity you would like, take my kingdom. Whatever you would like, you're Brahmanas. No, we don't want your kingdom. We just want to fight with you. Oh, very good. Charity granted. But I won't fight with that little guy over there, Arjuna. He's a coward. And Krishna's a coward. He runs from the battlefield. And Arjuna's a small fry. I'll fight that one. He had Kriti because of his punya, but he's a duskriti. He wanted to destroy Krishna with his kriti. Always in enmity with Krishna, and as a consequence, those in relation to Krishna. And sukriti is just the opposite. Whatever it is that one receives as a result of proper performance of dharma is only for the satisfaction of the Supreme. Dharmasya hi apavargasya nartotayopakalpate. The benefits that are derived from pious activities are never to be used for sense gratification. That's the Sukriti mentality. And the Duskriti mentality is that's precisely what it's for. Sense gratification. And whether it's the Duskriti such as Jarasandha and so many other people of the world, or the worshippers of Ravana, worshippers of devas, who want power, and the power is so I can dominate and destroy and rule and compete with God. Hiranyakashipu. These are names of personalities that are in the Duskriti category, and as Prabhupada explains, today we have very small asuras. But the mentality resembles the mega asuras. Little Hiranyakashipus, little Ravanas. The little Ravanas, they have the same mentality. Steal the goddess of fortune and employ the goddess of fortune in my enjoyment. That's the mentality. So such persons in both categories, the intellectuals who have the God-given capacity of intellect to understand the scriptures, but they refuse to accept the authority of the scripture, what to speak of, take guidance from those that can help them properly understand the scripture. Although the scripture is very, very clear and plain. One that doesn't have proper guidance can't understand that which is clear and plain.
Hare Krishna. So we will pause the lecture for today here. Any devotees would like to share anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So one point I like which we have pious activities are never to be used for sense gratification. But even though we are so much granted in this life, but we are thinking, okay, others are enjoying, why I should not? But this point strikes to me very much. Thank you.
Yes, Prabhu. And I think previous lecture, no, this lecture only, he told that uh, uh, the seeing the pleasure of the Supreme Lord is what we should try for. So something what you told the same. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Hare
So,
Krishna.
yeah, I have a question here. Okay. So the verse 2.3.10 says like akama sarva kamo moksha kama udaridhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajate purusham param, right? So even somebody who wants to become one with the Lord or to get desire of liberation, which is expressed here, must take up to this process of devotional service. Okay, tivra means like with single pointed attention or the only source. Um, but if impersonalists, if they started taking up this process of devotional service, then what happens? They start attracting followers and using the process of bhakti yoga. So this is happening even in South India. There are some organizations which primarily uses this chanting of the holy name, Nama Sankirtana. But if you go a little deeper into their philosophy, there is lot more impersonalism in their understanding. But they still like recommend chanting the holy name. But when such organizations also start using bhakti yoga or even chanting the holy name, which is the highest process in this Kali Yuga, then what happens? Like the real purpose of what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to give seems to get obscured. So how do we actually understand this process of this verse from Bhagavatam that even impersonalists should take up the process of bhakti yoga in a very very determined way? At the same time, okay, they will also start attracting people, and which is like counterproductive to what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared to give, right? So how do we reconcile these apparent differences? What Srimad Bhagavatam is actually showing us, even impersonalists has to take it up, and how do we apply it? How do we understand it?
Okay, got it, Prabhu. Any volunteers here? Uh,
Hare Krishna Prabhu, when you chant the holy name, even mischievously or jokingly, it has impact. When the impersonalists teach others to chant, the chanting itself will take care of. Of course, in what mood they are chanting, it depends. The chanting can take care of, but in whatever they chant, it is good. Not they may be getting the followers, but at least some percentage of the followers, they will get into the bhakti yoga. That is what my opinion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. But Prabhupada also says, okay, we should not receive the holy name from the mouth of a non-devotee. It's just like a milk touched by the poison of a snake, right? So it means like whatever we're receiving, it's not complete or it is fully contaminated, right? So then once again, there's another point of view. Okay, we cannot receive it from a non-devotee.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, go on.
Carry on, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Uh, Prabhu, I'll speak after you.
The thing is, that the holy name is so pure. Even if it comes from somebody else, it depends upon the person's previous sukriti also. If the person has got good sukriti, even that Vishnu can also go. It's not a thing. But it depends more on the reception, who receives, than the person who gives it. The person who receives it is very good, has got a good sukriti, then that wish will go away. That's what I think so, Ravi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. We had discussion on this before also that getting something from the non-devotees. But then I mean, if I see my own life, I have got many things from many persons. I came in devotee association now, but then I was receiving one thing or other thing, which was making my consciousness towards this. So it happens probably slowly, and then what Prabhu said now, who is receiving it is more important. I mean, definitely, if someone who is not believing in bhakti yoga and trying to preach, it will not have the right question, right impact. I mean, that the path is not right. But then, if it is sufficient to generate a question inside the mind and heart, that what it is, then the question itself will lead to the right path. I mean, the person has the question within, will try to search here, there, and I mean, then Krishna will take care where it should get satisfaction. Now, again, it will depend upon the s- Sukriti and then the karma of that person itself. But then, if the question has arise in within the heart, then it will take its own path. That's what I feel, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Uh, Kumari Mataji, any points from your side? So, Harisham Prabhu, your question is that even if the Mayavadis they take this process of bhakti, and there is no change of heart, there still remains their with their Mayavadi conception, but they outside they just make a show of devotional service, right, Prabhu? That's the
No,
question.
my question is like they will use this bhakti yoga, misuse the
Ah,
bhakti yoga. That's what
yes, yes,
that's the
okay.
point. Okay, and they
Sure.
could misguide all the people, right? Like, but here it is also recommended that even they have to practice bhakti yoga. So, so the fullness of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's gift
Hmm.
may become counterproductive if impersonally started taking to the process of bhakti yoga, and they don't preach following in the footsteps of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rather, they preach following their own philosophy. Right. That's the point.
Hmm. Oh, Kumari Mataji, anything from your side of this?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I feel that even the Jnanis or the Mayavadis will be purified by taking up the holy name. And ultimately, all uh, to come to the path of Jnana Mishra Bhakti to even attain the Brahma Jyoti. Without any admixture of bhakti in their activities, they're not going to even achieve their impersonal realization. So even people who are going, if they understand the Mayavadi philosophy and if they are after it and they want to actually merge into Brahma Jyoti, so even the common public who are taking it up will achieve something like going up to the impersonal um Brahma Jyoti, and from there then again they have to come back and work ahunam janmana mante jnanavanam prapatyate. So one day or other they will. So they are starting their journey in a wrong way. It's a long circuitous route, but then they are starting somewhere.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Shamkun Prabhu, you raise hand.
Um, just to add a slight point to what Kumarika Mataji and others have said. The verse says, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. That is, so the word Tivra here means, according to Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, this bhakti should not be without the mixture of jnana or karma, which means, like what you mentioned, Prabhu, that say in Tamil Nadu or other places, there is the Harinam Sankirtan done by at least two very prominent preachers, but that is mixed with the so-called desire for becoming one with the Supreme Lord. So the word Tivra qualifies it, saying it should be bereft of that. So if it is bereft of that becoming one with the absolute truth, then what is remaining? So it's actually not the kind of bhakti yoga that they are doing. It is what the Bhagavatam is saying is they should become udharadehi, broad-minded. That although the definition of Bhakti Yoga doesn't fit with their understanding, yet they should practice the Bhakti Yoga as given by Bhagavatam and as given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, rather than what their mind wishes so far. That is their broad-mindedness that they should have, that they should accommodate it, which will finally be helpful for them, Prabhu. That's it.
Thank you. But it seems like when they use it, like it becomes counterproductive for the welfare of the society, right? What do you? So it is our in sense, okay. It is as representative of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is our duty to give the real bhakti, right? Is that what it is?
Yes, and in a very compassionate way, in a mature way.
Hmm.
Uh, the one of the things that happens in our mundane world is the spirit of separatism, pratak bhava, as that's a phrase used in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The pratak bhava is you belong to that camp, I belong to this camp, something like that. Rather, even though we do not, most of us may not be at the Uttama Adhikari level, and yet we should, I'm not saying imitate it, but rather emulate it by saying, well, you're also trying to go to the similar destination. Can you try applying it this way instead? Uh, so we see from Srila Prabhupada that he was very strong against impersonalism. Should we also be likewise strong? On a case by case basis, we should do it. But when we are speaking very strongly, one thing should be very clear from our side. I am not here to prove I am right or how I can um, display my intelligence in answering all the questions. The spirit of compassion should be there. So I mean, we have, that's an effort for us to do, actually, to assist others to go on to the right path. Yes, you're right.
So sometimes when we become too accommodative, then the two camps comes up. Okay, like this person understanding. Okay, we are not trying to prove ourselves, rather saying we are just compromising, right? Sometimes being too liberal, like then we'll be branded as a liberal. Okay, like for example, even Sri Vaishnavas, there are like very strict, and then like people like Dushyant Sridhar, like he seems to be little too when he speaks. Okay, it looks like very compromising. He doesn't want to stir the honestness, and like, all those things are there. So as you said, okay, it requires a great deal of maturity, and on a case by case basis, we have to deal with it. Okay, it's a very pertinent point. Same time, yeah, a lot of purity is required to know what needs to be done at the which at what point in time, uh, and to it's very application like person specific as well.
Yeah. And one of the things which actually helps, I mean, if you go step by step for you and for everybody in this call, if you all were to engage yourself in being an instrument uh, to give the message of Srimad Bhagavatam to others in general, the general public as such. As you do that, you would realize that in one sense, becoming one with the Supreme Lord is actually an intellectual adjustment. But there is also a motivational adjustment that everybody has to do. The motivational adjustment, or the heart, or the chitta, the consciousness, the conscious willing thing, comes a little, not little, much more prior to that intellectual adjustment. And what is that heart wise adjustment? Or every individual, they have their own set of attachments. And in many cases, as we have heard from Nityananda Pran Prabhu, people are attached to the sources of their misery. We all like to be doing the same thing which we have been doing all along. We know that this is not helping me, and yet we are attached to doing it. It's different for different people. And as each of you help others, that You help them to see why are you holding on to this attachment. Then, if they get transformed, at that point in time, they will have greater belief in you. At that point in time, when you say about uh, the different aspects of the Absolute, the Brahman, the Paramatma, the Bhagavan feature, etc., and if you can explain the sweetness of Krishna, it becomes more accommodative. I mean, they can accommodate this idea because they have already received something else from you. So, in other words, before coming to the stage of saying uh, whether I go to serve the Supreme Lord or whether I become one with the Absolute Truth, we have to impact the heart of others in some other fashion too. And that is the hard work that is required from our side. And in in the process of that hard work, it's a lot of time where we do not get anything. And that's sort of the message which Maharaj had said, that in this world we are used to this mercantile mentality, what's in it for me? And when we go out and extend ourselves to others, for a long time we will not get anything. And that's how we get purified. And when we become humbled, really humbled, at that point in time, Krishna is happy. And when Krishna is happy, then others, all in the heart of others where the Paramatma is there, he will motivate them to say, you go and listen to what this person is saying. And then like whatever this verse number 11, which is the subject matter of our discussion, which actually says, Etavan eva yajatam iha nishreyasodayah bhagavati achalo bhavo yad bhagavata sangatah. It's that bhagavata sangha is important to come there. So the whole process is that we become bhagavatas first before being an instrument for others. So it's very important. These challenges are present for us to actually become Bhagavatas. Uh, that's one way to also see it.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, Sham Kundram. It's 7:10, but I saw one point in time Yugal Kishore Prabhu unmuted. Prabhu, you had something to say? Yugal Kishore Prabhu in call.
1 minute, Prabhu. Sorry, I was just wondering to check with one quick question with Shankun Prabhu. So before Shankun Prabhu said the last statement or before that we have to before they come to the platform of the Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan realization, we have to change their heart. So does it also include that we help them material ways as well, Prabhu, to bring, because initially everybody is looking for some material help as well, and we help them, and then they are more receptive to this kind of knowledge. So just a quick clarification, Prabhu.
Nice point, Prabhu. Others can tell. In the past, probably 20 years since I've been doing this kind of things in various ways, um, what I have seen here is for a vast majority of the people, the point that you said is actually very, very valid. For a vast majority, people are not looking for philosophical ideas. People, in fact, are not even looking for guidance. People are looking to be accepted by somebody. People are looking for relief from distress. Um, it takes a lot of sukriti. It takes a lot of sukriti and uh, not just, I mean, there's karmonmukha sukriti, jnanonmukha sukriti, and bhaktionmukha sukriti. Specifically, it takes a lot of bhaktionmukha sukriti for a person to actually accept devotional service, not for the purpose of saying, uh, I will get happy in life or something. It's just because this is what is the nature of my soul. It's not really for, it doesn't come so easily. You're absolutely right. And your question is that what we should do? There is the path of quick results. And the path of quick results is I will help them in their material endeavor. And sometimes it morphs, or it is exhibited in the form of socialization. Let us bring all these people together who like something, um, who have a little inclination to the absolute truth, but they really want the material problems to be solved. You bring all of them together, socialize together, and do something. In fact, what most people actually want is also socialization. It's not so much about understanding Krishna or appreciating Krishna. The socialization aspect is, the demand for the socialization aspect is very, very, very high, actually. And so, what do we do here? A very intelligent acharya or a guru or a devotee knows that I will give maybe 1 or 2% of it, but 98% something else. So one has to work with different people's nature. So to the bottom line, one cannot say that I am not going to address it at all. One addresses it in a very, very transcendental manner. And in addressing this in a transcendental manner, the giver has to be like what Prabhupada used to say, a doctor who gets into a pandemic area has to first inoculate himself or herself. So in that way, one has to, it's a very careful play. One touches and yet goes back. Like I'll give you an example. Um, one devotee couple, uh, they had been practicing Krishna consciousness for quite some time, maybe 3-4 years or something like that. And yet, for them, the attraction to Krishna consciousness actually deepened when they met His Holiness Rompad Maharaj, and he's like one of them did something incorrect and did something foolish, uh, and he didn't know what to do. The husband didn't know what to do, and he just froze, and he was standing in front of Maharaj, and Maharaj just looked at him and smiled. And in his life, that devotee was not always usually used to feel I am not being accepted. Only if I do this, I'm being accepted. But when that he received that smile, he felt he was accepted and he could go forward. You can say it is material, but it actually helped. So some things like that are very much necessary, Prabhu, for different people to just move forward in life. So it's not
Thank you.
necessarily giving them money or necessarily uh, arranging other things for them, but some even these small things in good consciousness by an acharya like person helps, and it is needed, Prabhu.
Thank you, brother. I think that makes more clarity. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru. Thank you so much. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, thank you. Devotees 7:15, 16 now. We'll close it for today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, that's it. Dear Prabhu or Yugal Krishna, I'm sorry, I'm unable to hear you. You are saying something?
No, bro, I think it was clear, bro. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, all the devotees. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Hare Krishna.